Okay, for this bit we're going to look at kinetic energy, and we're going to look at fuels used in vehicles in particular. So really the first thing is, if we're looking at kinetic energy, you know that kinetic is movement energy, and again, because it's energy, it's measured in joules, and this depends on two things. It depends on the mass of the object and the speed of the object. And if you look at this calculation here, kinetic energy equals half times mass times speed squared. Now you must remember, and this is where some students get the wrong answers, the speed has to be squared in this equation. So obviously if you look at that equation itself, if there's more mass, there's going to be more kinetic energy needed. Okay, so how does this relate to fuels then? Most cars rely on fossil fuels for their energy, but also possible to use biodiesel. Now if you remember, bio means something that used to be living, so it's an actual diesel that's being grown. Biodiesel is a liquid fuel made from plants, and the main disadvantage is that the field could have been used for other plants for crop. So if you think about it, if we all decided to convert all of our cars to biodiesel, that would be great because we wouldn't be using the fossil fuels, but these fuels have to be grown every year, and it means you'd have to use farmers' fields just to grow these fuels rather than growing the food that we need to eat. So you have to have a bit of a balance. Also you could have electric, because you're hearing more and more about electric cars, but really if you're asked to talk about the advantages and disadvantages of this, it still means we're causing pollution, because the electric has to come from somewhere, and usually it's from a coal powered station where the coal's been burnt to release the carbon dioxide into the atmosphere again. So you're still causing pollution even though you're not directly burning the fuel in your car. Battery driven cars are already in use, and solar powered cars are likely to follow. Battery driven cars do not pollute at the point of use, and like I just said, it's from the power stations themselves. So if we look then, vehicle fuel consumption, better vehicle shapes can reduce their air resistance because they are more streamlined, and it means that the air particles can flow much more easily over them, and so there's less air resistance on the vehicle. So if you put a roof box on a car, you are going to have more fuel consumption because you've got a bigger surface area hitting the air particles, and it's not a streamlined shape. The car fuel consumption will depend on some of these factors: energy required to increase the kinetic energy, energy required to work against friction. The driving style and speed obviously make a big difference, because if you keep putting your foot down all the time, it means you've got to have a big power of energy to get it going. The different road conditions and tyre pressure. If the tyre pressure is too low, it means that you're going to consume more fuel. So please remember some of these factors.